Hello, guys. Imagine that you're planning a holiday in Southeast Asia with your family. One day, you open a newspaper and you read that an airplane crashed in a distant country. No survivors. You start feeling nervous about the trip, feeling that flying has become a risky thing. You're thinking of canceling the whole thing. Maybe we will be better off taking a road trip or staying at home. You say to yourself. Why do we think that things that happened recently or that we can easily recall are more likely to happen? Today, in Deciding How to Decide, we will talk about the availability bias. And what exactly is it? The availability bias is the tendency to rely on information that comes to mind quickly when evaluating situations or making decisions. We think, if I can recall something fast and come up with many examples, it must be important and probable. Information is available in your mind through several ways. Imagine you're the manager of a company and you're considering promoting either Jack or Jill for a top marketing position. Both have good track records in the company, though Jill has been the highest performer during your tenure. She's great, but 2 years ago, she made a big mistake that cost the company a potential project. Considering this stain in Jill's record, you decide to promote Jack. The vivid memory of Jill making this mistake weighted heavily on your decision more than it should have. Available memories also have to do with recency. Media coverage pushes recent events down our throats, making us feel that they are very likely to happen. After knowing from the daily news about a high profile youngster's abduction, we believe such tragedies are frequent. After learning about the Fukushima nuclear disaster, you might become convinced that a nuclear war or a nuclear accident is likely to happen. After watching a movie about a shark attack, we will think that they happen a lot. Therefore, we will refuse to swim in Cancun on our spring break holiday. What is also true is that information that we gathered through first-hand experience, the one we lived, influences more than second-hand information, the one we obtain from other people or from books or news. For example, individuals who know of several successful startups are more likely to overestimate the percentage of startups that succeed, even if they have read statistics that show the contrary. And why does the availability bias happens? Every day we have many decisions to make, but our attention and our mental capacity to analyze each decisions are limited. So, to save time and energy, we rely on shortcuts to rapidly understand the context and elements of each decision. One of these shortcuts is to use our available memories. Some of our memories take intentional effort and reflection to be retrieved, while others are easier to retrieve. They are available. We use these last ones. We love low-hanging fruit. The availability bias allows us to skip laborious fact-checking and analysis from decisions. But it also has a cost. The cost for the snap judgments we make through the availability bias is the increasing likelihood that our decisions will be flawed. It affects the soundness of our assessments because it hurts our ability to gauge the probability of occurrence of certain events. Memories may not be realistic models for forecasting future outcomes. An available event in our memory is not necessarily a frequent event. The overestimation of available events leaves us with low quality information for decision making. For example, people remember more airplane crashes over much more common incidents like car crashes. As a result, they often overestimate the likelihood that a plane will crash and might choose to drive rather than to fly, even though flying is much safer. In the days immediately following the terror attacks of 9/11, thousands of Americans did just that. Although the evidence is mixed, some studies show that in the year post 9/11, the extra deaths of driving, those of people that should have flown but that decided to drive, were comparable to the victims of the terror attack. So, what can we do About it. Availability bias occurs automatically, without any effort. It is deeply rooted in our brain. We can rewire it to avoid it. Awareness increases the chances that you will identify availability bias in group settings. Think fast, but more importantly, think slow, especially when making important and complex decisions, so you can incorporate appropriate tools, evidence, and other information like statistics, which will help you to understand the probability of something happening. Rather than relying on your memories, keep records. Remember that memories are not photographic, they fade away. Records stay there. Now, a disclaimer. Remember, this video is not the last word regarding the availability bias. Its goal is to ignite your interest in this topic so you do your own research. Send us your feedback so we can continue this conversation. Time to go. See you next time. Thank you.